Before you continue with your day, pause for a moment. Not every thought someone has about you is spoken out loud. Some feelings stay hidden in quiet corners of the heart. There may be someone in your life who carries your presence with them. Not loudly, not dramatically, but in a way that quietly shapes their days. You may not see it, but their thoughts return to you more often than you know. Sometimes the strongest emotions are the ones people never say out loud. There are people who walk through life appearing calm, composed, unaffected, yet their minds return to the same person again and again. A memory, a conversation, a small detail that suddenly feels important, and without realizing it, that person becomes part of their quiet inner world. This kind of connection isn't always obvious. It doesn't always appear through grand gestures or constant messages. Instead, it shows itself in subtle ways. In the way someone pauses when your name appears, in how they remember things you barely noticed saying, or in the way their mood changes when they see you. In this video, we'll explore the quiet signs that someone may be thinking about you far more than they ever reveal, because sometimes the most meaningful emotions are the ones carried silently. Stay with me, because the first sign often appears in ways people rarely recognize. 1. Your presence stays in their mind. Even when life becomes busy, certain thoughts keep returning. For this person, you are one of those thoughts. They may be working, talking with friends, or going through ordinary routines. Yet suddenly something reminds them of you. A phrase you once used, a song that feels familiar, a place connected to a moment you shared, and for a brief second, everything pauses. It isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's just a quiet reflection, a small smile, or a thoughtful silence. What surprises them most is how naturally these thoughts appear. You may not notice this from the outside. Inside their mind, your presence continues long after the moment has passed. That's the first sign that someone is emotionally connected in a deeper way than they admit. Because when someone truly occupies a place in your heart, your thoughts return to them, even when you try to focus on everything else. And this quiet habit of remembering you is where deeper feelings often begin. 2. Why they hide these thoughts. But here's the part that makes this connection complicated. The person who thinks about you so often is also the same person who tries the hardest not to show it. Not because their feelings are small, but because sometimes emotions feel safer when they remain hidden. Maybe they're afraid of changing the balance between you. Maybe they worry that revealing their heart could make things awkward, or even push you away. So instead of speaking, they choose silence. They act normal when they see you. They keep conversations light. They smile, joke, and pretend that nothing deeper exists beneath the surface. But inside, their mind tells a different story. There are moments when they want to ask more questions about your life. Moments when they want to tell you how much your presence actually means to them. Yet something stops them. Fear has a quiet voice. It whispers things like, "What if they don't feel the same? What if I ruin the connection we already have?" So they protect themselves by staying quiet. But silence has its own weight, because every time they walk away from you, there's always one lingering thought in their mind. I wish I could tell them what I really feel. And the truth is, the more they try to hide it, the more their feelings slowly grow. Sometimes the strongest emotions are not the ones people confess. They are the ones people carry silently, hoping that somehow, one day, the other person might understand without words. 3. The small signs that reveal their feelings. Even when someone tries to hide their emotions, the heart has a quiet way of revealing the truth. Not through big declarations, but through small moments that most people overlook. You might notice how their attention shifts whenever you're around. In a room full of conversations, their eyes seem to find you without effort, not in an obvious way, but in quick, thoughtful glances, as if they're checking that you're there. And when you speak, they listen differently. They remember things you said weeks ago, small details that even you might have forgotten. A favorite song, a random story from your day, a passing comment that meant nothing to you but somehow stayed with them. Because when someone carries quiet feelings, your words matter more than you realize. Sometimes their care shows up in the simplest ways. They ask if you reached home safely. They notice when your mood changes. They sense when something is wrong, even before you say anything. And when you're having a difficult day, their voice softens, almost instinctively. They may never say, "You mean a lot to me," but their actions begin to whisper it, in the way they show patience with you, in the way they give you their time without hesitation, in the way they quietly make space for you in their life. And the strange thing is, they may not even realize how visible their feelings have become. Because sometimes when the heart cares deeply, it speaks through behavior long before words ever appear. And those small, quiet signs often reveal more truth than 1,000 spoken confessions. 4. The moment they realize you truly matter to them. Sometimes love doesn't arrive with loud confessions or dramatic moments. Sometimes it appears quietly, in a realization that slowly grows inside someone's heart. For this person, that moment didn't happen all at once. It happened in small pieces. Maybe it was the day you weren't around, and they suddenly noticed how different everything felt without you. Conversations felt shorter. The day felt strangely empty, as if something important was missing. Or maybe it was a simple moment, a laugh you shared, a random conversation, or the way you understood them without needing long explanations. And in that moment, something inside them shifted. They realized that your presence had quietly become a part of their happiness, not in a dramatic way, but in a deeply human way. You became the person whose messages they secretly hoped to see, the person whose opinion mattered a little more than everyone else's. And the confusing part. Feelings like these often grow without permission. They told themselves it was just friendship, just coincidence. But the heart has a strange honesty. The more they tried to ignore it, the clearer it became. You weren't just someone in their life anymore. You had quietly become someone important to their heart, and sometimes the most powerful feelings are the ones that arrive gently, until one day a person realizes, somewhere along the way, this person started to mean everything to me. And maybe the most mysterious thing about love is that it doesn't always arrive the way we expect it to. Sometimes love doesn't start with a confession. It doesn't begin with promises or grand gestures. Sometimes it begins quietly. It begins in the way someone looks at you when you're not paying attention, in the way they remember small details about your life that even you forgot, in the way your happiness somehow becomes important to them, without them even realizing when it started. Maybe it happened during moments when you were just being yourself, honest, kind, real, and little by little, you became someone they couldn't ignore, someone whose presence felt like comfort, someone whose voice could change their entire mood. But sometimes feelings like these are complicated. Sometimes the heart feels deeply, but the words never come out. So this person stays silent, watching, caring, loving you quietly from a distance. And maybe the most touching part of this story is this: you might not even realize that someone out there carries these feelings for you every single day. Someone who thinks about you more than they admit. Someone whose heart softens every time your name appears on their phone. And if this message touched something deep inside you, take a moment and ask yourself something honestly. Is there someone in your life whose actions feel like this? Someone who might be loving you quietly, without ever saying the words. Tell me in the comments. I feel this. And if this story felt like it was written for your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might secretly feel the same way, because sometimes a single story can reveal the love someone has been hiding all along.